Hey crafters, Leo with the Dreaming Tree, and welcome to the assembly video for our Autumn Fox card. I have all of my pieces cut out, as should you, and we're going to jump right in here. Very simple little project, but beautiful. And we have available a set of print then cut inserts. This one's very beautiful. We've included a Happy Thanksgiving, a happy birthday, and then a blank one without a caption so that you can create your own. And I'm going to probably put together a little video talking about the fonts that I used and how to kind of place them and just make sure that they look nice. And you got plenty of room for your personal sentiment, so definitely make sure you download that under the free printable section. But let's take a look at the actual card itself. Here is our card base. I went with the solid scoreline version of the card, as you can see here. I typically like to do that for any project that is a card or an envelope, or basically anything where I've mentioned this many times before. I really like using the solid score lines for my card bases as well as my envelopes. Okay, so we're going to start off by taking this brown piece, and you'll notice that you have a series of little markers here on the bottom, and that's just to help you get that nice and aligned. You can eyeball it, and you can also use that as a guide. I'm not doing anything special to this piece. Just going to get it glued down. Got a nice fresh bottle of glue, my favorite. And let's get this in place. Nice and easy, go light on the glue. No sense in warping your beautiful cardstock. Make sure that, use those little guides, but then of course give it a visual appraisal. Make sure everything looks good, press that down, just like that. Okay, next we're gonna find this layer here, and this is gonna go right on top of this layer. Just like that. So same thing. Go easy with the glue around the perimeter. And then we'll give it a little touch here on our beautiful fox. And then just hit these little leaves with a little dot so that they stay put. Okay. And we're just going to match that up with the existing brown layer as accurately as we can. Just like that. Give that a push and a press, and voila. Okay. Pretty simple so far, huh? This will be great for this time of year with autumn. Now this is like a chocolate pearlescent cardstock that I actually ran through my embossing machine. Looks really nice. And that's going to go on next. Now with embossed paper, sometimes as you're applying your glue, you're getting it into those little nooks and crannies, and it pretty much doesn't do anything. It just kind of gets lost in there, and that's just what happens. So just make sure that if you are applying glue to an embossed piece that you give it a little extra. Okay, and this, now I noticed that when I ran this through my embossing machine, it like kind of stretched the paper out a little bit. So if you use an embosser and a folder for this piece, and you notice that things are just kind of never perfectly lining up, don't worry about that. That happens. Okay, push that down. That looks great. Okay, now before we do anything else, go ahead and find this single leaf here. Now another thing with when you use any sort of embossing, there's a possibility that the little score marks that we put on these sort of get lost a little bit. Okay, luckily I can still see mine, and I know that that's going to go right there. And there's also a little section here to help you with that placement. Okay, now I'm going to, for the most part, glue this down flat. Okay, since it's such a delicate little piece, I really don't want it to get ripped or torn. So for the most part, we're just going to glue this down completely flat just to protect it. As much as I want to add more dimension to this project. I'm afraid that this just might get ruined if we try to do that. Okay, so again, whoops, a little too much glue there. Just find a little marker there. There it is. That's going to be hidden away eventually with our little frame that we're going to put on there. And then just find that spot there. Just like that. If you're not exactly in the 100% precise location, it's okay. Okay, there we go. All right, next, we're going to start building on the layers for our fox. Now, we can kind of play with the dimension on this however we want. I ran this part through the embossing machine just to kind of give these leaves a little bit of dimension. And this red layer is going to go on top of this purple layer. And I opted not to emboss the red, just so that not everything is embossed. Sometimes it's good to, you know, kind of vary things a little bit from layer to layer to create some additional interest. And what I'm doing right now is just looking to see where I actually need to place my glue. And I'm going to focus the glue on the fox itself, a little bit on the legs, the tail for sure, but nothing over here really. Okay, so do your best to keep that glue within those areas. Just like that, and a little bit down on the leg there. Perfect. Grab this piece, and the purple is going behind the red. Line that up as accurately as you can. Make sure those ears and the face all line up nicely. Press that down. And I've got a video I need to make because I've been having some issues with my maker lately, and the pressure just doesn't seem to want to cut consistently, and it's bugging me. It's really bugging me. Okay. All right, so I'm going to put this layer down. We're going to use this brown layer, this brown fox layer, to kind of help us with the positioning of this. This is going to go down flat. Okay, and you can see that we're kind of building the layers of all of the little foliage. I don't know why I couldn't say that. Okay, make sure you get a little bit there, a little bit there. Gotta work a little bit quickly here. Make sure that things don't start drying up on us. Okay. And let's get this lined up. I'm looking at the ears right now for my initial placement, then the nose, then working my way down to these little cutouts, just making sure everything is good and centered. There we go. We're gonna put a pattern back there, but I just thought it was too much. And actually this card looks kind of cool even without this extra foliage, honestly. So you can kind of take it to whatever level you want. All right, next we're gonna put this little section of grass down here, just like that. So we'll flip this around and apply our glue. Hopefully everyone's transitioning into fall nicely. I think that the older I get, the less I like the cold weather. And, well, I have to say that if you're thinking about long term, do we really want to stay in Illinois and brave these winters the rest of our lives? And then you see, familiar with the term snowbirds, the people that move down to Florida. Boy, I'm terrified of even considering going down to Florida with what's going on there right now. Thoughts and prayers go out to all the brave souls that are, as they say, hunkering down right now. It's not for the faint of heart, that's for sure. Okay, so what we can do here, I'm going to start building the fox real quick, okay? And you can decide how you want to approach this. You can see here, I did strategically ink certain parts of the fox. There's certain parts that you don't need to ink because there's overlays that would hide the work that you do, okay? But we're going to put them together like this. This is going to be the main part of the fox, and then the tail and the head are, we can foam square those. I think I'm going to put this layer down flat. You could technically, if you wanted to, make this dimensional too by adding some foam squares to this layer and then do the fox. You can foam square 2 sections of the fox. I'll explain in a little bit more detail here in just a second if you're unsure of what I'm talking about. Okay, so this is going to go on the brown layer here, and that's just to kind of create that little separation between his cute little rear end and the tail and the legs actually. Okay, so just make sure that's all nice and lined up. Press that down. Okay. So now this layer, we still need to glue this layer down. That's going to go right here, like so. I did not, this is a vanilla color. I didn't ink this. I wanted to leave this nice and pure. Sometimes when you see our furry little friends and you know their coats have a lot of variation with that. They have the white sections of their fur. Sometimes they're just majestic and pure white, and it's just really pretty. So I wanted to leave that contrast there and not muddy it up. So I just left it alone. Okay. All right, so there's beautiful Mr. Fox. And again, so you can take this and you can add foam squares to this if you want. And I'm going to put this down and just kind of think about this. Do I want to do that, or do I want to, I don't know. Could go either way. I think I'm going to glue them down flat and then just use foam squares for the head and the tail. Okay. That's up to you. I think if you're planning on mailing this, I would say the less dimension, the better. Just so that things don't get messed up. Just so things don't get messed up while you're, you know, in transit, I guess you could say. Okay, give that a little nudge in whichever direction it needs to go so that it's nice and flush up against the previous layer. There we go. Looks great. All right, let's take our tail. Oh, yeah, let's do the tail. Sorry, getting a little crazy here. So this is the tail. It's going to go there, and then we have, again, this little vanilla section for the very edge of it. What a pretty card. And it's not specific to anything, so it's appropriate to send in the fall. You can cater it to whatever occasion you see fit. Okay, so let's go ahead and flip this around and grab some foam squares. I like these black ones that I get from Amazon. They're my favorite because they peel very easily. There's other brands where you're like fighting to get the backing off of it, and it's just not fun. Okay, so of course this is going to go right here. Just want to match that up with the existing layer. And you can see how that adds that nice dimension to the tail. Beautiful. Let's put his little head together. And you know, sometimes, especially I think around the holidays, we're always going to, you know, create and develop more complex projects. But I think sometimes it's a breath of fresh air to do something and create something with your hands that's beautiful, that doesn't take, you know, ages to assemble. And with this one, you can practice your inking a little bit. It's not that much inking either. And I think it's just a very well-rounded card. Okay. Now, we did include his little eyeball here. If it's too small for you to work with, you can simply just take a fine tip pen or fine tip marker and just pencil it in instead of having to work with this tiny little piece, which even I'm kind of having an issue with here. I wouldn't call it an issue. It just takes a little patience. There we go. There's this little eyeball, and then we have these 2 layers for his mouth. The black layer is going to go underneath the white so that we just have the little nose sticking out there. Okay, so let's excuse me, apply some glue to the white part. Wonderful. And then pop that right on top of that black shadow layer. And again, I left this vanilla color alone as far as the inking goes. Line up that nose nicely. Beautiful. Okay, and then flip this whole thing around, apply glue to the entire shape. Flip it over and just line it up with the very bottom of our fox's face. Cute. Wanted a nice, elegant fox. I really think they're very majestic creatures, and I don't mind the cutesy, but okay. So again, I mentioned foam squares for his head and his tail only, so that we have a nice sturdy card with a little bit of dimension. Okay, let's peel that off. And then we have I thought this was kind of like a nice little piece of art, so let's frame it. Look at that. That is beautiful. Gorgeous. Okay, so our little frame here, we made it 2 layers. We went with gold, and this gold is going to get glued to the brown cardstock just to thicken it up a little bit, make it a little more sturdy. Okay, maybe just spread that glue around a little bit. Going around twice. Okay. And all we need to do here is just match up the corners. Use your finger to feel the edges. Okay, just squeeze the edges together. And then once we have it all in place, just run your fingers along the entire piece. There we go. And you can see here, you can either glue this down flat if you want. Okay, I think that looks awesome, flat. But I'm also going to add some foam squares to this to give it some dimension. This one's going to be hand delivered. Probably going to give this to Liesel's mom, or even my mom. I don't know, we'll see. Because I have another card. I'm cutting these in half to make them a little bit thinner so that they don't show through, okay? Or they don't poke out and kind of ruin the magic. I don't want to see foam squares popping out of the corners. Okay, so I always do the corners first and then find the halfway point between the corner pieces, and then again find the halfway point between these pieces. And that's a great way to space things out evenly. It's like doing math but visually. Okay, and I have another set here that are already cut for me. And then what I like to do is give it the old push test. Yeah, it's a lot of foam squares, but it's okay. What are we doing this for if we're not taking our time and building something beautiful? Flip it over, give it a push, and see if it gives too much in any area. I think that's plenty. Okay. You could go and add more in between each of these, but I think that they're carrying enough weight and preventing the majority of this thing from sagging and bending and bowing. So this is plenty in my opinion, and it will definitely do the job. Okay, now obviously this is all the same all the way around, so it doesn't really matter which way, up or down. And there you have it. That's beautiful. Okay, and then let's open it up and check out this beautiful insert. Beautiful card. Okay, so just take this, and actually thanks to one of our super fans, I've tested a lot of different papers for my print and cuts, and Fahi, one of our fans, I hope she doesn't mind me mentioning her name, I've done it before, she actually turned me on to this Epson, like super high quality printable paper. The colors are just so much more vibrant. And I have an Epson printer, but I just picked up a Canon at Best Buy for like 60 bucks, and I love it even more than my Epson. Okay, so there's your beautiful insert. Happy Thanksgiving. And of course, no Dreaming Tree card would be complete without a coordinating envelope. So as you can see here, again, I have the solid scoreline version of the envelope, which not only photographs better, but looks way better than having those perforated lines. Okay, just using my little scraper tool to fold that even better. And then here we have the little piece that's going to go inside here for those little dots. And the way I want you to do this is I want you to just apply some glue around the dots like that. And then on this piece, with the texture side facing away from you, apply your glue around the perimeter on the texture side, just the perimeter. Do not do anything in here because we don't know where not to put the glue so that it doesn't poke through those little holes. And just get that nice and centered. Press that down, just like that. Okay, and then you'll notice a series of little markers on this for this little leaf, and I believe it goes like this. Okay, so this little marker here is for the very base of it. The other two are going to go right into these little valleys between the leaves and the stems. The leaves. Welcome to English 101. Okay, there we go. Pop that right in place, just like that. I don't know what that was. All right, and then we're going to take these two side flaps, bring them in, and clean off that nozzle. Apply your glue like that from here along the inside all the way down, and then bring this up, press down, just hold that. I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to put it right here so you can see that you've got plenty of room to put that card in there. And that is it. That's our Autumn Fox card. Beautiful, super easy to customize, and I love it. So that's going to do it for our Autumn Fox card. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you happen to make this and would like to show it to the rest of our community, head over to your Facebook and do a search for Dreaming Tree Official. That's where you'll find myself and over 46,000 other dreamers that inspire us daily. So hope you had a blast, and as always, I look forward to crafting with you again. Hey, thanks for crafting along with me. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, check out some of our other videos, and please consider hitting that subscribe button. Also, don't forget to visit our site and check out our free SVG section, where you'll find over 140 free SVG files complete with assembly tutorials. I'll see you in the craft room.